The Invisible Man came out in 1933. It was directed by James Whale and was based off the original novel of the same name by H.G. Wells. And today I'm joined by my beautiful wife, Kelsey. She wanted to join this one because out of all the Universal monsters out there, the Invisible Man is her favorite, and we've even had the honor of getting to meet him.
We met him in Epic Universe during our recent trip a few weeks ago. It was super fun.
Yeah, and you, without hesitation, offered your services to him for his quest for world domination. And while he was appreciative of that, he did kind of point out the major flaw in that is that you're not invisible.
Which was very rude.
Yes, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
No, he was a great actor, though. It was a lot of fun. He got kind of intimidating a few times. He told me to drink the Monocaine because they have Monocaine themed drinks in Epic Universe, right? And so he told me if I wanted to join him, I would have to use the Monocaine. And he got like this far away from my face.
Yeah, he got pretty close, yeah.
He got like right up to my face and was like, and if you don't, I will find you.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, but then after all that, he was like, would you like a picture?
Yeah.
And then even I was trying to get the selfie, and then he just kind of like glared at me. He was like, I don't recall you asking. I was like,
exactly.
So I learned my lesson. I asked. So continuing my series of reviews for the Universal Monsters, again, today we are talking about The Invisible Man that stars Claude Rains as the Invisible Man. The story in the movie goes a scientist named Jack Griffin discovered the way to render himself invisible, but the chemical Monocaine that, made him invisible is also altering his mind, driving him crazy, and I think it also gave him above average strength, making him stronger than the average man. And now he's wanting to use his scientific discovery for world domination, but the big problem is he does not know how to turn himself back, so he also spends quite a bit of the first part of the movie trying to figure out the secret to bring him back. And along the way, he enlists the help of his former colleague, Dr. Kemp, that was played by William Harrigan, to join him in his quest for world domination, but he's a little hesitant. But, he reluctantly agrees after, various death threats. Getting into it, what did you think of the movie?
Oh, I loved it. So the first time I saw this movie was, it was a couple years after we'd just gotten married, and you found out I hadn't seen a lot of the classic black and white Universal monster films. And so you asked me if I wanted to have a marathon chronologically so I could see them. And I said sure. And so we watched the first couple, and then we got to The Invisible Man, and I had zero expectations, no idea what to expect. And I just found I was laughing through it. I was having a good time. Like the performances are just over the top. They're fun. And so I love this movie. It's actually my favorite of the Universal Monster movies.
I've always enjoyed the Invisible Man movie. Like you said, it's a lot of fun. And I know that in one of my previous videos, I said that I wasn't going to really comment on how over the top these movies are, because, that's just kind of the norm for some of the acting. But this one deserves an exception because most of the performances, while they're good and classic and iconic, they are kind of dialed up to 11 with how over the top they are, especially with Claude Rains, who, by the way, did amazing in this role. I'm just going to go ahead and say that the Claude Rains is by far, he's the star of the show. Like, even though there's like other actors and performers in this, like Claude Rains really steals this movie, and you don't even fully see him until the very last scene after he's killed. With his performance, his vocals, like he steals the show.
Yeah. And he's a villain you love to hate, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's this villain, he's doing terrible things, but it's just so fun to watch him do it. Because he's just like, he's so insane, and it's like you never know what he's gonna do next.
Yeah, and it just kind of builds from the start. Like when he's very reserved at the beginning when he goes to the Lion's Head.
Yeah.
Very reserved, and as this, it just builds and builds and builds, he just goes crazier and crazier. And, the over-the-top performances doesn't really even start with him. It starts with, let's see, her name in the movie is Jenny Hall, who is the one of the innkeepers for that tavern, the Lion's Head, and she was played by Una O'Connor, and her performances, it just made us laugh because like she just offers to clean his coat. He's just like, no, and she was like. And he kind of, like the actor at Epic Universe, kind of delivered with that same energy. Like, you were like, Dr. Griffin. And he was like, what?
So Dr. Griffin.
What?
Yeah, he was so mean. It was great.
As he was, like, constantly terrorizing her, like, her screams, she was just like, ah! It's just, like, the most...
Yeah.
Like...
I love it, though. I love her energy.
I know, she kind of gave that same energy, too, and I believe the Bride of Frankenstein. When she sees the monster, she just still goes, ah!
Yes.
She's, like, if it wasn't for Claude Rains, like, I think she would also, like, be still in this movie, too.
Honestly, if she was not in the movie, I think it would be a less good movie in a lot of ways. Like, she just, her over-the-top performance, her energy, it's just so fun to watch. It makes me laugh every time I watch this movie.
Yeah, and also in that opening scene, like when they're trying to kick the Invisible Man out because he hasn't paid his rent and he's just been causing trouble for the Lion's Head. He's like, like the most, sympathetic we see him throughout this movie is like he's imploring them, please, I'm just trying to, but when it doesn't work out, then he just goes crazy, and then like... And by crazy, I mean he literally loses it. Like he has like that iconic scene where they get probably the most stereotypical police officer that you could ever find, where he just enters the room like, "What's all this then?" And when they're reporting an assault, to him, like there's a crazy man in the Lion's Head. Oh. What?
The characters are just so fun. They're so good. But I can see how some people, when they're watching this movie, may be put off by the over-the-top performances, but I love them. I enjoy it.
I love them too. And I think, the scene where the Invisible Man, like he first reveals that he's invisible, like, first off, the effects in that, like, especially for an early 1930s film, is great. And like, I even saw briefly how they were able to capture that. Like they had to like film different shots and put that shot like over another shot, and like they had to like put like this garb over Claude Rains to kind of be able to erase out his, like his features so that way it can show that he's invisible. And it was just great. Like, and like even whenever he goes crazy and he starts like, stripping off his clothes, doing that very iconic laugh, like even those effects were great. And like when he steals a bicycle and like throws it at people and everything, like for being made in the 1930s, like this movie like has great practical effects.
It's really impressive. And I remember first watching that movie wondering how on earth they did that. Like for that time period, they had no green screens, they had no CGI, they had none of that. And they made it work with practical effects, making this guy invisible and wreaking havoc. It was just really good.
Yeah, and a lot of it also was just the actors themselves. Like whenever like the Invisible Man is strangling somebody, like you had to like the actor that was being strangled had to convince that somebody was attacking him.
Yeah.
And they all did very well.
Yeah.
The effects, great. The acting, over the top, but amusing, very fun to watch, but great performances. I was wanting to say though, like out of all the monsters out there, like the Invisible Man, out of all the monsters so far, he's done the most damage. He has caused a lot of death and destruction.
Mm-hmm. He just wreaks havoc wherever he goes. Yeah,
and not only is he invisible, he's really intelligent too, on top of that. I mean, he's basically if the Joker was invisible.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna make that comparison. He's like an early version of the Joker.
But there's not a lot about this movie that I don't dislike, because it's just, while yes, he's causing a lot of like chaos and death, it's just still fun to watch and everything, especially just to see how he does it with like not even appearing on screen. But of course, unfortunately though, there are some flaws with it that, I didn't really pick up on until like my last couple of watch throughs. And so let's go ahead and get into some of our negatives. So I'll start with you.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't really have any negatives. I have a lot of love for this movie, but there were some inconsistencies.
Yeah.
And I'll let you go into those a little bit because I know we've talked about some of those and what those are.
Yeah, so some of those inconsistencies mostly revolve around both Jack Griffin's plan to rule the world and then in the movie when his colleague Kemp betrays him by calling the police. The Invisible Man has sworn vengeance. He says by 10 o'clock the following night he will die. And how the police go about trying to protect him, it was riddled with flaws, and I'm just like, and again, we'll get to that, but again, with Dr. Jack Griffin's plan, he kind of, as we just mentioned before recording, like, he kind of changes it. At first, he's just bound for world domination, like, he wants to rule the world, he wants to wander into, the vaults of the world and, discover the secret of kings, as he implies in the movie. But then he also changes it later. It says, like, I will sell my secret of invisibility. Like, the nations of the world will bid thousands or millions. And I'm like...
Right, and which is it,
Yeah, which is it? And also, like, why would you want to sell your greatest power to other people that you don't know and that you can't trust will not, turn that against you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense for him to want to get rich, but at the same time, it's like, well, he can't really get away with it because he's killed all these people and he's wanted. Mm-hmm. How does he expect to be able to, like, sell it to all these governments and stuff and still not get arrested?
Well, that, and he mentions that he also wants to get a partner and everything, like, so that way he can take a break every now and then. And I was just like, but, like, why would you also want to be uninvisible? Because once they discover who you are, I'm sure there's, like, photos of you somewhere. They'd be like, it would probably be best for you to just remain invisible, especially since you've already, like, attacked people, like, you've caused chaos in that village with the lion's head, and you've, not only that, one of the biggest kills in this movie is that he derails a train filled with, like, 100 people, as they said. So, yeah, I was just like, I just thought his whole plan was flawed, but I'm kind of a little bit more forgiving towards that because... there's a scene where he's with his fiancée, Flora, who is played by Gloria Stewart, which, by the way, she played the elderly Rose from the Titanic. When I found that out, I thought you would like that because you like that movie.
Yeah.
And she kind of reveals that her father has discovered that the monocane will also, like, alter his mind, driving him crazy. So I'm kind of basing his flawed plan off the fact that, he's not right in his mind, so he's just probably just... he's not, like, focusing on,
the details.
Yeah, the unreasonable details.
Yeah.
So now, when it comes to when he threatens Kemp in the movie, he says, by 10 o'clock the next night, I will kill you. And the police go through this whole plan of, like, okay, we're going to escort Dr. Kemp to the police station. We're going to have him switch clothes. We're going to get him in another car, drive him to this place, and we're going to group around him, and then we're going to put him in this garage and get him in another car. And I'm like, why doesn't anybody stay with him?
Yeah.
Just like, well, yes, the Invisible Man is strong, but if there was, like, a group of, like, if he was, like, focusing on killing Kemp right there, like, why would they leave him alone in the first place?
Well, honestly, like, he could have gone to the police station, and then, one, they would be there to hopefully protect him, and two, he could have been bait.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like an obvious plan, and they go about it the weirdest way.
And of course, sadly for Dr. Kemp, like, he drives off and he's gloating for a minute. He's just like, kill me at 10 o'clock, huh? I'll show you. And then he's just like, I think this will do nicely, Kemp. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yep. Poor Kemp.
Yeah, so really that's all of my issues. But what I like about it is it goes into pretty good details. Like, I like how they kind of, and there's, like, one scene where, like, Kemp brings him some food and some pajamas and clothes and everything, and he's basically saying, like, while his invisibility is his greatest strength, it's also his greatest weakness, because the slightest thing could expose him. Like, he says, if I'm in a fog, you could see me like a bubble. Mm-hmm. Like, if it's snowing, you can see him. Like, he said, even, like, getting dirt on his fingernails will expose him. And he even says, like, I have to have clothes on to eat because, like, when I eat food, like, you could see it, like, hanging there until it dissolves. I thought that was really cool.
Well, and the biggest issue, right, is that he's exposed to the elements.
Yeah.
He can't wear clothes when he's going about being invisible, and so he's exposed to rain, to cold, to snow. I mean, that's very limiting.
I don't know. Like, I would, like, if I was the Invisible Man, I'd be like, yeah, no, it's way too cold out. I'm just gonna
Frostbite.
Yeah, like frostbite. I was like, I'm just gonna, rule the world from my house or something.
Yeah, for real.
But like, I'll just make some prank phone calls, and then they'll never find me.
I just sneak into the movie theaters or something. You know? Free movies.
Were there anything else about the movie that you didn't care for, or was that just it?
That was it. I mean, I really enjoy it. I think it's a fun movie, and especially for the time it was made in, it's very impressive what they were able to do with it. I think it's a shame that that it didn't have quite as strong of a legacy as some of the other monsters did.
Yeah, they did make the remake in 2020, which I thought it was pretty good. I need to rewatch it though, but at the time, I thought it was good. I know that they're trying to make it more grounded and bring in some realism to it, where Griffin, he had like a suit that, camouflaged him essentially, which made him invisible. I mean, I personally don't really care for the idea of making these movies like grounded or realistic and everything. I just kind of like, come on guys, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But yeah, they also tried to bring him back in the Dark Universe, but unfortunately with how The Mummy with Tom Cruise, like how that just tanked and everything, they're just like, yeah, no, we're done here. Like, and they do have some sequels to this movie. There's like The Invisible Woman, The Invisible Agent, Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man. So, but when it comes to like Epic Universe, like they have basically all the monsters. They have Dracula, the Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, and the Bride. The Phantom of the Opera and the Mummy make an appearance, but they did not have any merchandise for the Invisible Man.
I looked everywhere for an Invisible Man shirt. I just wanted to buy one, and there was none, which is crazy because his character like roams the park freely, but they don't have any merchandise.
Yeah, and it was that was basically the only thing with the Invisible Man, is that you get to meet the Invisible Man, which was still cool, but waiting out on a hot day in Florida, I was just like, come on, dude, where you at?
Yeah.
I need to go ride the Ministry of Magic,
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely guys, if you have not seen The Invisible Man, definitely check it out. Like, it still holds on its own very well to this day. The action is great, the practical effects are great, the acting over the top, but a lot of fun to watch. So definitely go check out The Invisible Man. Sweetheart, thanks for joining us on this review. I'm glad you got to do it, and I couldn't talk about The Invisible Man without you.
Well, I appreciate it, and thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have to, if we cover the sequels, we'll have to talk about those like in the future. But guys, thanks so much. Be sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this review, and be sure to subscribe if you are enjoying these reviews and would like to stay updated for more of my content. And be sure to stay tuned for the next review in the Universal Monster film series, The Bride of Frankenstein. Guys, thanks so much. Have a great one.